So we are happy to be here today to share with you some groundbreaking, unique and most importantly, actionable research into the role of emotion within audio advertising effectiveness. So this brings together the expertise of System1, who have a long history of emotions-based creativity testing, with us here at Radiocentre. So we will be with you for the next 30 minutes, first of all sharing some top-line findings from the research, followed by a panel. So we'll be inviting Orlando Wood from System1 to the stage alongside top marketers from Moonpig and Specsavers. So they'll really be bringing the findings to life and talking about some great audio examples. So, what makes a really effective audio ad? Well, as we heard from Matt, the number of commercial audio listeners are at record levels and growing steadily. So this research presents a huge opportunity for brands to harness the power of sound and truly get heard within an increasingly crowded and visually dominated advertising landscape. Andrew.
So what makes effective advertising? When Orlando Wood wrote Lemon and Look Out with the IPA, he started a movement. He showed with System1's video ad testing tool that emotions predict the outcomes of TV advertising. He also introduced the left and the right brain to the advertising community. He built on the work of Ian McGilchrist and his brain lateralization thinking. Our left brain is more sensitive to dopamine. It holds a narrow focus on the world due to that being our treat for completing a task. It's very goal-orientated. Orlando showed that the left brain is more associated with TV advertising with very short-term effects. Our right brain is more sensitive to noradrenaline, our treat for completing vigilant. That's why it holds a broad attention on the world. It's interested in people, emotion, and context. It's more associated with advertising, TV advertising for long-term effects. We've going to, for the first time, bring this thinking into audio advertising. What we've also done as well is create Test Your Ad Audio, which is a tool that helps advertisers predict, understand, and improve the creative effectiveness of their audio ads by collecting real human emotion data and brand recognition data, all in under 24 hours without the need to put anything on air. We turn this data into three key metrics. Our star rating predicts long-term effectiveness from positive emotion. Our spike rating predicts short-term effectiveness from the speed at which an audio ad brands and how intensely it makes listeners feel. Our fluency rating is the percentage of correct brand attribution after listening to the ad once. But for Listen Up, we wanted to look at in-market effects data, and that's where Radiocentre came in.
Very much. So at Radiocentre, we are the proud owners of the biggest radio campaign effectiveness database in the world, RadioGauge. So having launched in 2008, we've measured over 1,000 different radio campaigns across multiple brands and categories. So for RadioGauge, we compare a sample of commercial radio listeners against non-listeners. This helps to isolate the radio effect and provide post-campaign analysis covering key brand metrics. These key brand metrics include advertising awareness, uplifts in consumer action, ad recall and brand trust, alongside measuring creative engagement amongst listeners. And it is this in-market effectiveness data that System1 were really interested in. So for this project, we shared with System1 some of our RadioGauge effectiveness data. We gave them 55 different campaigns that had run on radio over the last 10 years. Now these had a combined sample of over 50,000 different commercial radio listeners and non-listeners. By sharing a really broad range of high, average and lower scoring RadioGauge ads, System1 were able to compare the in-market brand effects of advertising with different emotional responses. This helped them to really understand how emotion and brand recognition can generally change the effectiveness of a campaign. Whilst the creativity scores from our RadioGauge data were analysed for left and right brain creative features. This really helped to unlock world-first insights into audio creative effectiveness. So in total, for this particular project, we analysed the data for 131 different radio ads across 13 different product categories. Now, this was really important that we had a representative sample to ensure that the findings were robust and that multiple brands can use them across all audio advertising formats. Now, all of the findings, insights and case studies can be found in the Listen Up publication, which will be available exclusive to download from today. Andrew will now share some of the key headlines from this research.
Dramatic intimacy, Jesus. In Beethoven used the fermata, this sheet music symbol, in his Fifth Symphony to create the pause. Silence heightens our vigilance. It attracts and sustains our broad beam attention. We also heard the use of sotto voce, which is Italian for under the voice. This modulation of volume causes us to lean in, heightens our senses. It was also used by Mozart in the 18th century. I've actually scanned this. This is his writing from one of his last pieces of music he wrote on the year that he died, Ave Verum Corpus. Mozart and Beethoven were perhaps the world's best storytellers without the need for image or word. And that's why dramatic intimacy is one of our new right brain features for audio creativity, because it can attract and sustain broad attention and entertainers. Quite like in video, character, incident and place are great as they don't assume our interest, they earn it. Dialogue, especially with distinctive accents, are also great as they let us know the role of characters and the relationship between them without the need for visuals. Sounds of the living, sounds from the context and playing with words, especially humour, add further depth and drama to a scene. And finally, our right brain allows us to appreciate the sense of lived time, space, depth and flow. And that's why music with a discernible melody, a tune you can hum, is so important as a right brain audio creative feature. As opposed to the left brain features, which are more suited for those in the buying mode. Being spoken directly to without context or lack of depth, being sold to with comparisons, claims, data, and over-reliance on product attributes. These features will attract the interest of those already interested and are more suited for sales effects. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, why is there a northerner on stage talking about brain lateralization, Mozart and his use of sotto voce? Me too. However, the findings in Listen Up clearly show how this new lens of audio advertising can inspire a new generation of audio creativity. Allow me to show you. So, we looked at all the radio campaigns and we coded them for what we call right brain skew. That's the number of right brain features less the number of left brain features. We compared these to star rating to understand the long-term effectiveness of these campaigns. There's a very clear, significant positive relationship. If advertisers want to use audio advertising for long-term effects, they must use more right brain features and less left brain features. We were also interested in the feature's ability to cause long-term memory structures. So we looked at media-weighted ad recall if a feature was present or not present. To understand if a feature can create positive emotion, we also looked at the change in star rating if a feature was present. Now, I think this is the most powerful finding in all of Listen Up because it brings together two very unique data sets. There's a very clear pattern. Right brain features attract our broad attention, create more positive emotion and more longer lasting memory structures, as opposed to left brain features which attract less broad attention, create less positive emotions and form less long-term memory structures. That's why these features are better for message-driven, short-term focused radio ads. Now at this point you're also wondering, why are positive emotions so important in audio advertising? Allow me to show you. We looked at the media-weighted consumer behaviour change caused by a radio campaign with below average star rating. That's for those campaigns that don't create much positive emotion. And we can see there's a limited change in consumer behaviour caused by these radio ads. That includes buying, searching, using for, sharing a brand. We also looked at the media-weighted consumer change for radio campaigns with above average star rating that's causing more positive emotions. It's very clear. If advertisers want to change behaviour towards a brand, they need to use audio ads that elicit strong positive emotions. Now, we already know that radio is the most trusted news medium, and the IPA showed us that simply including it in a campaign leads to very large trust effects. We took a closer look. We looked at the media-weighted trust increase for radio campaigns with below average fluency. That's for those that link weakly to the brand. They caused a modest gain in brand trust. However, looking at the media-weighted brand trust effects of radio campaigns with high fluency, a strong link to the brand, they caused double the trust effects. Now, there's a lot of popular digital media that are really not trusted. So if advertisers want to build brand trust, they should use radio advertising with distinctive and famous audio brand assets to truly take advantage of the trust-building power of radio. And finally, in our database, the average star rating for TV and radio are very similar. So we expect them to have very similar long-term effects. And this is no surprise. Thinkbox last week released research showing that audio plays a key role in TV advertising, especially attracting and eliciting attention. However, there's an average fluency rating and emotional intensity are slightly lower, which will lead to less short-term effects. So I'm going to pass over to Donna, who's going to talk about audio best practice, how we can close this gap and make the world's most effective audio ads.
Thank you very much. So how do we do it? Well, as Andrew shared in detail, advertising aiming for more longer-lasting brand effects should incorporate more of these right brain audio features, and there are lots to choose from. You should create with the listener in mind. So our radio gauge data revealed the relationship between positive emotions and an ad being really clear who it is for. Now, don't be shy, make your brand prominent and relatable. Use a creative strategy that taps into consumer goals and problems, include customer insights, and whilst trying to limit excessive detail, like within terms and conditions where possible. Don't zig, zag, zag, zag. So we found that ads that really stood out from their category and other audio campaigns got more attention and resulted in listeners feeling greater emotional intensity. Now, it's important for audio ads to be consistently distinctive. Now, what do I mean by that? They need to sound different from other audio ads, but they need to consistently sound like themselves. Embrace the power of music. It really is the gift that keeps on giving. Music brings audio ads to life by attracting attention and creating emotion. We found that music generally caused a huge jump in the long-term effectiveness scores. Now, this really builds on research that we have done previously at Radiocentre, which really showed the benefits of using a piece of music over a longer period of time for brands. Now, speaking of consistency, ensuring audio ads are consistent with the brand's ads across other media channels really boosts long-term effectiveness. This helps to extend campaigns for a brand and build stronger memory structures. So well-known straplines can trigger brand recognition without decreasing emotional intensity. And last, but by very means not least, brand early and often to benefit from these trust effects. So without the advantage of visual cues, you need to introduce the brand's audio assets early. So ideally within the first few seconds of the audio ad, and then repeat them throughout. Now, this can really help a listener to more easily digest the advertising message. Now, this doesn't mean just say the brand name over and over again. Nobody wants to hear audio ads like that. But instead, utilise the brand's full arsenal of audio assets, be that the strapline, voiceover characters, brand sonic or music. All of these help to enhance both long and short-term advertising effects. So here you go. Here is the QR code to scan and download Listen Up, publication that is available now.